Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to start trying to clean this engine bay out. I want to get rid of the brake booster, get rid of the power steering pump and all the lines, start working on this wiring harness that is all around inside of here, and maybe get onto the front grille and pull out as well. So I thank you for joining us again. Let's see how it goes. Now there's quite a bit going on in here. There's a lot of things that we're not going to jump on here right away, like the cover that has the heater core behind it for the heat inside the cab. I'm going to leave that covered for now, so when I pressure wash around this, the water's not going through inside behind the dash, even though I'm sure there is some in there anyway. We're going to keep out as much as we can. But I'm going to concentrate mostly on this area, pulling all this stuff out of here and clean it up. There's a lot of grease and crap in there, and I want to get that pressure washed off. Same as the wiring harness, which I did cut, but I cut a nice spot here so I could fix it if I wanted to. But remove the lights. The wiring harness goes all the way through and around, and then we'll get rid of this grill here as well too, the stainless steel, because I do want to get down in here with the die grinder and a wire wheel and clean the rust out of these corners. There's a little bit here and there and flaky paint, and I just don't want to be scraping on this at all. And also, when I put a little primer down, I don't have to worry about overspray on it. So I'm going to jump in here, and I think the first thing I'm going to tackle is try to get that brake booster off. Finally, that may have seemed quick, but this was way more difficult than I would have thought. This is what you've seen from inside the engine bay, and the bracket's up on the car. The two bolts that I took out, which I thought was holding this on, is just more of a support. Now, on the inside of the car, under the dash, this is the rod that comes out of your brake that pushes from your pedal and pushes on the cylinder to activate your brakes. There's these four nuts here. Now, I don't know how the engineers do this, or any of you guys out there that work on these cars all the time. Like, do you take the steering column out to do this? Because this took a long time, you know, upside down, dirt in my eyes, most turds in my eyes as well too, trying to get up in there to get these four bolts out. Putting this back in, I'm thinking I will probably have the steering column out when I'm redoing the dash, and this will be one of the first things that go back in. Now, I'm going to check on the kits. I don't know if it's a combination, like the whole setup that you do here. Is it a whole kit, or is it just the double pot that goes onto the front of this booster? This seems like it's in good shape. The boot's still good. It moves inside fine, and the spring pushes it back. So maybe I can use this again. Maybe I can't. We'll have to do some research on that. Now, there was some oil in the reservoir when I originally checked this, so I don't know if it's making it all the way through the line. So I put a catch pan down there just in case we get a little coming out. Hopefully It's just this bolt-on line and one pipe clamp line, and this will be it. Oh, and yeah, and there's lots of fluid coming out. So she definitely is still full. It's coming along nicely. I have to admit, it is amazing how little wiring there is in these older vehicles. I also got 4 wires here that are definitely not original. This is like bell wire. It's one solid core inside. And then I got this. This feels like spring cable, almost like that would be inside of a choke cable, but the choke cable actually comes out of there. I pushed it in so it'd get out of the way. But I'm not quite sure what this is. I'm going to try to get up under the dash and see where it's coming from, because it goes in and then it stops. So I'm not quite sure what that is. So we'll investigate that. We'll pull these wires through here. This is what I'm saying, it's like a bell wire, just one solid piece. So we'll pull those through to the inside as well too, and we'll just see what they're connected to. Well, here's all that wire. And I cannot believe, for a vehicle that was on the road for so little time, even maybe 10 years at the max, what I think this is, or was, I think this was a switch, which goes up under the dash into some speaker wire into this, which I think originally was the headlights, and I think this is a headlight switch on and off. I can't believe how much mess is in here for a vehicle that, say, was on the road for maybe 10 years max. Just because if you look back on the videos, there's that money I found in the back seat. So it's been at least 10 years that this vehicle was being used for. But it's just a mess. This extra wire, I have no idea. No idea. Somebody explain to me why. But it's out. It definitely ain't going back. We'll be making a new harness or buying a new harness and redo this whole dash. It is the next day and we are clean. Get everything out of the way over here. Brakes and all electrical. We get all the brake lines themselves all removed. Even took out the front grille. Just for giggles, I checked the continuity of the wiring harness here for the headlights, and it's good. So I think I'll just leave it for now. I did cut it, but I'll be able to splice it back together no problem. So I'm going to just leave that for the time being. But we're going to get some degreaser, hose down this area. This is about the only greasy area. Then bring the pressure washer over and try to clean this up. And there we are. All clean. Pumps look pretty good. Almost basically everything came off. Might have to use a little brake clean just to get the last bit of scum off it, so it'll take some paint. But I do plan on leaving the power steering pump in there. Like I said, it was a small leak, could have been from the line. You know, we'll find out once we run it, but we'll leave it as it is for now. Even managed to shove the pressure washer into the heater core, and there's some pretty crappy stuff come out of it for the first few seconds, but then she blew straight water, and nothing came in on the inside. A little bit from where I was spraying, but nothing dripping down from that heater core. So maybe it's still good. We'll get a better idea of that once we pull the cover off and get a look at it. We'll pull it out and do a proper cleaning. But for the most part, at least it's not plugged and the water did make it through. And just like magic, the engine is clean as well. I did take this thing in early this morning into my work. I used the pressure washer in there. It was 3,000 psi, and it has a soap dispenser and heat, so I was able to get this thing up to just under 100 degrees, just about boiling. But gave it a good cleaning. Everything came off nice. A few spots that are on like tar that couldn't quite come off, but for the most part I think I'm going to be able to get to every bolt no problem, so I don't have to worry about digging through gunk. And I think it cleaned up quite well. Now that it's dried up, I can get a much better look at it here. And it is really, really good. There is not much scale at all on this frame. So like I said, just a little bit of brake clean on the side of that pump there, and should be good to take some paint. Another thing I noticed, and from factory I guess, is the welds on this frame. Wherever they put this box system together, the spatter is unbelievable. Like, I can't believe how much welding spatter is all the way around this thing. Every single joint, right where the main mounts for the front suspension go, it just spatter everywhere. I don't know, maybe that's common on frames today as well, or maybe back then they just didn't care. But I am going to come in here with a die grinder and go over the surface quickly of everything I can see. I'm not going to crawl underneath yet to do it, but everything on the top side, all the rust on the edges of the fenders, you know, get in places like this too with a light wheel, anywhere it might be a little bit flaking off, and work my way the whole way around it. And then when I'm done, I'll get a couple cookie discs and just buff those gently, just to take off some of that slag, just to, I don't know, pretty it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna give it a coat of primer in here just to slow down that rust. So that is going to be the end of the video. Before we go, thought I'd just give you another peek at the 361. It's beautiful. I'm really excited to tear into this thing. Pulling off a head is going to be something else to see what that actually looks like inside. I can only imagine. So as usual, thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Love having you guys come in. I see all the comments, read all the comments, and I love it when new people subscribe. Have a good week. Catch you later.